city pulsed with tension, like a bomb ticking under a velvet curtain. The rain fell hard across the skyline, slicing through neon haze and lighting shadows, where everyone had a secret and no one slept soundly. Goku D'Angelo lit a cigar in the back of La Tavola Nera, the private dining room tucked behind his strip club front. He sat in silence at the head of the long table, eyes trained on the slow swirl of smoke, like it was telling him the future. Valerie D'Angelo leaned against the window, staring out at the wet city. "You've got a rat, baby," she said. "Our suppliers are spooked, our earners are running scared, and somebody's leaking like a cracked pipe." He didn't answer right away, just watched the embers glow at the end of his cigar. "Let 'em circle. Rats always come up for air before they drown." Valerie turned, her expression like a knife wrapped in silk. "We don't drown, babe. We drag 'em under with us." Across the city in a high-rise penthouse, Supreme stood shirtless by the window, rain tapping the glass like a snitch with second thoughts. Behind him, Mrs. Supreme moved through the space in silk, her every step deliberate. She poured herself a glass of Merlot, the dark red swirl matching her mood. "This ain't our war," she said. "But if we get hit, I'm throwing the first punch." Supreme cracked a grin. "Let 'em swing first. We make our move after everyone else is tired." She joined him by the glass. "Then we make sure the right ones stay down." Nick DeCaprile, the slickest wise guy this side of the Hudson, leaned against a crate in his garage hideout. He wasn't just any street soldier. He had Goku's ear and a plan of his own. Across from him, Stash sat cross-legged, half-baked and rambling about loose ends. "You trust anyone in this game, Nick?" Stash asked. Nick looked up from the pistol he was cleaning. "I trust that if you flinch wrong, you get clipped. That's about it." He tossed a burner phone into a duffel. Inside were wads of cash, a change of plates, and a list of names, some circled, some crossed out. At a greasy spoon off the interstate, Trock nursed black coffee and scribbled on a napkin. His nerves were shot, eyes flicking to the door with every gust of wind. He lit the napkin with a match and dropped it into the ashtray. The waitress filled his cup. "Rough night?" "Every night's rough," he muttered. "Only the dates change." In a federal surveillance room, Agent Caden monitored a wall of screens. Every player on the board was in view. Goku, Valerie, Supreme, Nick, even Bambi. He rewound a clip of Goku's meeting from earlier, his jaw tightening. "She's in deep," he whispered. "Too deep." A buzz from the terminal confirmed what he suspected. Someone inside Goku's camp was feeding information to someone else. Bambi Palermo sat alone in a dark, crumbling apartment on the city's edge, her fingers trembling as she peeled tape from a hidden mic. Her coat dripped rain onto the floor. On the bed next to her lay a photo of her and Nick at their ma's birthday, before everything got so complicated. "I'm gonna get us both out of this," she said to the silence. She stuffed the photo in her coat, reloaded her pistol, and slid it into her waistband. The rain outside tapped faster against the window, a countdown she couldn't stop. A knock came at the door, 3 precise taps. Bambi froze. Only one person knocked like that. "Bambi!" Her breath caught. That voice, she hadn't heard it in years. She opened the door to find Agent David Lopez. Drenched, older, but still with that fire in his eyes, her old flame. Her partner in more ways than one. The one that got away. "What the hell are you doing here?" she said. Lopez stepped in, shaking off the rain. "Transferred in. New assignment. Thought you should know I'm on the case now, and it's gonna get messy." She stared at him, emotions clashing behind her eyes. You always show up right when the kitchen's about to explode. Wouldn't miss the fireworks, he replied. Meanwhile, at a nondescript motel on the edge of town, Harlow Blonde traced red string across a corkboard riddled with photos and notes. She was connecting dots no one else even saw. She circled Lou's face, then drew a line straight to a question mark. "Trock's hiding something," she muttered, "and I'm gonna find out what." She tucked her piece into her waistband and flicked off the desk lamp. Every piece moved, every player danced, and the board was closing in on all of them. The rain hadn't stopped in 2 days. It smeared the neon signs into watercolor ghosts and washed the gutters clean of everything but secrets. The city wasn't just wet, it was soaked in tension. You could feel it humming in the bricks, in the concrete, in the low hum of engines idling too long on street corners. Inside a quiet federal building on the edge of downtown, Agent Caden sat in front of a wide, glowing wall of surveillance screens, his face lit by flickering images of lowlifes and kingpins. He hadn't slept. He didn't need to. Caffeine and paranoia kept him upright. One screen replayed footage of Bambi Palermo walking into La Tavola Nera the night before, her coat dark with rain, eyes sharper than ever. "She's in too deep." Behind him, the door creaked open. Special ADA Ian Wilson stepped in, fresh suit, old eyes. "I heard she made contact," Wilson said, scanning the monitors. "She walked into the lion's den and came out breathing. That means either they still trust her, or they're watching to see how long she thinks she's safe." Wilson watched the footage for a long moment, then turned away. "We've got one shot at this. If she goes down, we lose everything." Caden nodded. "Then we better catch the rat before they chew through the wire." In a rusted-out corner of the warehouse district, Chris Trock sat hunched beneath a failing street lamp, the weak yellow light flickering like it was afraid of the dark. He nursed a cup of bitter coffee and scribbled notes on a paper napkin, his nervous system fraying with every gust of wind. He didn't hear her approach. "You always this twitchy, or just when someone's watching you?" He jerked, spilling a bit of coffee onto his jeans. Harlow Blonde stepped out of the shadows, her blonde hair soaked, eyes ringed in tired fire. "Jesus, Harlow, don't say my name like we're friends," she said, pulling a thumb drive from her coat. "Someone's been whispering to the feds, and I got just enough proof to start making enemies." Trock looked down at the napkin in his hand, then at the drive in hers. His eyes darted around like they were searching for an escape route that didn't exist. "I don't know nothing for sure." "Then guess," she said coldly. "Who do you think's got a second life in this crew?" He hesitated, eyes darting to the side like they were trying to run from his mouth. "Lou," he said finally. "Carbone. He's been off." Harlow didn't move. She didn't blink. "You're sure?" "No," Trock whispered, "but it feels wrong when he's in the room." She pocketed the drive and turned, her coat flaring out like a cape. "That's enough for now." Nick Decaprilli didn't do alarms. He did instincts. And this morning they woke him up with the subtlety of a punch in the gut. He rolled out of bed and walked barefoot into his kitchen, only to find Valerie D'Angelo sipping orange juice and flipping through his mail like it belonged to her. "Coffee?" she asked without looking up. Nick grunted, grabbing a chipped mug from the drying rack. "You break in again, or you finally had a key made?" "Same difference," she said. "I needed to talk." "That why you're wearing my shirt and no pants?" She smirked. "You always were good at noticing the wrong thing." She handed him a folded note. Goku's handwriting. One address. One time. La Tavola Nera, she said. 2 o'clock. He wants everybody there. Nick read it twice. Why? Valerie's eyes glittered, sharp and merciless. He thinks someone's selling him out. Nick sighed. Is it me? If it was, she said lightly, you'd already be on fire. On the city's edge, in a crumbling apartment lit by gray daylight and bad decisions, Bambi Palermo reloaded her pistol and stared into the mirror. She didn't recognize herself anymore. Lopez sat on the windowsill behind her, watching her move with the slow grace of someone who expected violence every time she opened a door. You really gonna walk into that sit-down? He asked. I've walked into worse, she said. I know, he said. I was usually right behind you. She turned to him, her eyes soft but tired. What are you really doing here, David? He stepped closer. You think I transferred out to D.C. for better food? I'm here because someone's got to watch your six. You're too good to die in a shithole like this. She stared at him a moment, then reached up and tucked a small photograph into her coat. Her and Nick, smiling, back when things made sense. I'm not gonna die, she said. Not until I finish what I started. At exactly 2 p.m., La Tavola Nera was silent as a funeral home. The room was full, but no one made small talk. Goku D'Angelo sat at the head of the long black table like a judge awaiting a confession. Valerie sat beside him, legs crossed, eyes scanning. Nick sat on his right, Supreme and Mrs. Supreme across from them, Trock further down, visibly shaking. Bambi near the end, Lopez standing behind her like a sentry carved from stone. The air was thick with tension and tobacco smoke. Goku lit a cigar slowly, the flame dancing in the shadows. I didn't call you all here for dinner, he said, though someone in this room might be dessert. No one laughed. He exhaled smoke, watching it curl above the table like a spirit. We got a problem. Someone's been leaking. I don't need proof to know it. It's in the way my men flinch, in the way my phone rings late, in the way our friends in Jersey suddenly don't answer no more. Nick cleared his throat. You got a suspect? I got instincts, Goku said, and they're screaming. His eyes moved down the table, lingering on Trock, on Bambi, on Supreme. Problem is, I like everyone at this table. That's why I brought you here, to give whoever it is a chance to speak before I find out the hard way. The room was quiet for a long time. Then Bambi leaned forward. Maybe the leak ain't just working for the feds, she said. Maybe they're trying to keep us busy while they make their own moves, playing both sides. The room was quiet for a long time. Then Bambi leaned forward. Maybe the leak ain't just working for the feds, she said. Maybe they're trying to keep us busy while they make their own moves, playing both sides. Standing in the doorway was Lou Carbone, soaked in rain, grinning like a man who didn't know he was already dead. Hope I'm not late, he said. Goku stubbed out his cigar and smiled. You're right on time. Is Nikki playing both sides? Will Goku find out about his cheating wife? Tune in next week to find out on Neon Noir.